Because I'm not on the stream. Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? Nope, nothing. Okay, so I didn't even realize I didn't add myself to the stream. What a dumbass. That was stupid. I had to rush from Audie's or Waddy's live stream to rush over and get set up on my own live stream, and I forgot to add myself like a moron. Oh, thanks for letting me know, guys. No audio. Okay, so now we're back. Everybody can hear me. That's much better. Let's see. Crypto Talk now. Let's go, Sean. Happy Saturday, everyone. Smash the like button. For one who forges crypto even on his days off, the Crypto Smith. Thanks, Max. I appreciate that. Always appreciate the support, brother. And I do enjoy. If you guys haven't seen Crypto Talk Now, CTN's channel, go check them out. I'm over there on their channel twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays we do a show, Utility Talk Now. It's just me and Max. Max and I get to co-host, which is a nice, cool title. And I do appreciate it, Max. There you go. Yeah, that was dumb. And everybody's just watching a screen, and I'm not even talking. And you didn't even know I was there because I didn't add myself to the stream. Okay, we're back. I can stop panicking now. You can hear. Okay. Yes, we can hear. Excellent. Yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid. I'm just over here chatting to myself apparently the whole time. So I guess we get to start over. Everyone, hopefully your Saturday is going well. It's a nice balmy 55 degrees here in Idaho. I was out working in the yard today, which was really nice. It felt really good getting that sun on my face. I am no what do you call them? I'm not very good working with wood, let's say, and not that kind of wood for you guys out, you degens out there. It's all good. Teddy Vinny, I'm not sure if have you been on my stream before, because the name doesn't look familiar, and maybe it is, and I'm just old and I'm forgetful, but I do appreciate you showing up and the support. I do. Thanks for the good laugh. Yeah, that was dumb, but I appreciate you guys letting me in on that secret there. Hey Tim, how you doing? It's Tim Shea, everyone, the mayor of crypto. I see you came over here from Waddy's channel. Waddy's got 40 people over there. He's killing it. That's really good to see. Waddy's such a great dude. He's super nice. He deserves some success. So thanks for everybody who was over on that stream supporting Waddy the Crypto Hunter. He just got monetized, which is why we were over there. And a little celebration. Hey, Alex. It's Edward Vinson. Is that Teddy Vinny? Is Edward Vinson? Sup, Sean? Hey, Brian. How you doing? Thanks for popping over and checking it out. Probably surfing 2 streams right now, which is cool. I have no issues at all. Waddy is a super good dude. Teddy Vinny, no, sir. Edward Vinson just went through a change. Gotcha. Sup, Edward Vinson. Thank you, Tim Shea. Let's see, everybody's saying hi. Sup, Max. Go back to Jazzy, you bum. I'm not as good as Max. He does very good impressions. Me, not so much. Not even gonna. I don't even like to try because it's just embarrassing. I don't know. I'm here. I embarrassed myself enough already just being on a live stream. Love you, Max. Let's see. Hey, Max. Everybody knows who Max is, right? Max will be streaming here in about an hour, I think. Yeah, probably in an hour. Crypto Talk Now. It's a fun name. Still the same. I realized I needed to check this out for sure. Gotcha. Larry likes Liechtenstein. That's a good word, too. I love that word. So what are we going to talk about today? I want to go through basically the dilemma we find ourselves in this country, and really, obviously, in the greater portion of the world that has a financial mess going on. We've got super high inflation. Prices are still out of control. We have the feds, which are only creating more problems. Rate hikes, which is part of the reason these banks are going under, because the rates have grown so much faster than they're used to, than they can prepare for. And they got these old bonds paying, 1%, 2%, versus these new bonds coming out, which you can get at 4 or 5%. So that makes those old bonds worthless, or worth less. And then these banks have liquidity crisis, and they've got to sell off these old bonds for a lot less money, and they lose a ton of money, and that's how they go under. And today, to get straight into a little bit of, actually, let's look at some humor, because here's old dumpster by Biden. This was funny. I just thought this was a funny little clip. That's how I feel about our economy right now, about what he's doing. Not necessarily him, because I seriously doubt he even knows what country he's in, but all the policymakers out there who are screwing shit up. So, and then we got...
What do you mean the bank is out of money?
Insolvent? You only have enough cash for the next 3 customers! Hey, wait, just a second here. No, I don't have your money here. It's in Bill's house and Fred's house.
Hey, what the hell are you doing with my money in your house, Fred?
Yeah, so this is exactly what happens. So you get somebody in the government, I believe, who was it last time about Silvergate? One of the senators basically said, I don't think Silvergate's doing well. It looks like they're having liquidity problems. And what did that do? Right. And that was before they were really having a problem. The mere suggestion of it causes people and companies to go and pull their money and funds from that bank. And that's when banks go under. So the rumor itself, that's all you really need in order for, to put a bank out of business. And then they decide, with what is it? Silicon Valley Bank, SVB. Then they decided they were going to go ahead and just bail out every single depositor on there, even way above the limits of the FDIC. So that was nice. Obviously, we don't want a bigger bank run here. However, let's just enjoy this picture real quick. Indian Vitalik. Is this not one of the funnier pictures? I don't know if this is a compilation of two, or if there's actually an Indian. I've seen, other nationalities who, look like somebody else, but this is just too perfect. I don't know. I got a good kick out of that one. Let's see. Let's go down to this right here is, hang on one second. Let me get to Dowie, Tim, Vinny, everyone else. Nice, Sean. It's about to go down. Yeah, I think we're in for a much, much bigger surprise than anybody realizes. Mo Sizlak of The Simpsons, probably my favorite voice on The Simpsons. Yeah. Hello, Tim. Almo in the house. Thanks, Almo. I appreciate you showing up, popping in for a little support. Almo, of course, big into MMAI. Probably one of the bigger MMAI whales out there. Much respect, sir. Brian Dowie, what happens when more banks collapse? They can't bail them all out. And no, you are correct. The FDIC is put in place to help insure deposits, right? If you've got up to, I think it's 150 or 250K in an account, you'll get your money back. But no, they don't have enough money to bail everybody out of all of the banks. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you here. He actually looks good as an Indian. Max wants to date. Max wants to date. Where is it? Where's my bookmark? Okay. This guy right here, Indian Vitalik. You guys would make a nice couple, I think. You'd have, sexy little babies, if that was the thing, if you could do that. I heard 186 more banks are in trouble. Yes, that is the rumor on the street. But here is, I believe, a congressman from Oklahoma who's asking the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who's like 187 years old, about what's about to go down. So here is
deposits in every community bank in Oklahoma,
Let's see if I can make
regardless of their size, be fully insured now? Are they fully recovered? Every bank, every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of the size of the deposit, will they get the same treatment that SVBP just got or Signature Bank just got?
A bank only gets that treatment if a majority of the FDIC board, a supermajority
Can you guys hear
of the
that?
Fed board, and I, in consultation with the president, determine that the failure to protect uninsured depositors would create systemic risk and significant economic and financial consequences.
So what is
And
your
we
plan?
made that determination.
Right. So the deposit.
Okay, so I don't know if you could hear that. So what he's asking is like, hey, in my state, if these banks go under, if they have a liquidity problem, are you going to bail out everybody like you did with SVB? Being all of the uninsured depositors, right? And so that's all of the money that's above the FDIC limit, and what they guarantee. Because Janet Yellen, and I have another video here, which she said before all of this happened that they weren't going to bail out banks like they did back in 2008 when they said all of these different companies, Ford Motor and all that, were too big to fail, and they said they weren't going to do that again. And then what they do, like 2 days later, literally, they bailed out the bank and all of the depositors and all of their money, basically all of the money above what the FDIC insures. So he's asking the same thing about my state. Hey, are you going to do the same thing for us in Oklahoma if that happens? And she's essentially saying no. The FDIC board has to vote on it. The president gets consulted on it. She has a vote on whether they're going to bail them out or not. And so she's saying if these banks aren't important enough, then no, we're not going to. So I don't know what that says for the future of the financial system here. It is clearly not working correctly. And here's old Biden in his dumpster just cruising down the river. So here is where
during the financial crisis,
she says they're not going to do it.
There were
right before
investors and owners of systemic large banks that were bailed out, and we're certainly not looking, and the reforms that have been put in place means that we're not going to do that again, but we are concerned about depositors and are focused on trying to meet their needs.
Can you say whether these problems were unique to Silicon Valley Bank, or can you say whether there will be other regional bank failures?
Well, look, let me just say that we want to make sure that the troubles that exist at one bank don't create contagion to others that are sound. And a goal always of supervision and regulation is to make sure that contagion can't occur.
So let's see. I didn't hear her say it, but she does say it in this interview that we're not going to bail them out again. She said we're not going to do that again. But that was like a day or two days before they actually bailed them out again. So that was determined to be a lie. And it's bad policy. I understand not wanting contagion, right? And what is that? That's, obviously banks have deals together. A lot of banks are connected via their money and investments in other banks. So once one bank goes down, they don't have the money to make another bank whole. Maybe they borrowed money, there's loans there. And then it starts to feed on that other bank. And then people hear that other bank's got issues. Now everybody rushes to pull their money out, and now they're done. Right. And that's what happens. That when you hear the term liquidity crisis, that means your bank already doesn't have your money. Right. When you go down to your bank and you want to take out 10 grand in cash, they're going to tell you to come back later or come back tomorrow, because they have to get the money. They don't have the money sitting in the bank. So if everybody decided, I don't trust this bank anymore, I want all my money out, and they try to move their money out, that bank is basically done. And that's most banks, unfortunately, here in the country. And they did say 186 other banks are at risk of failing because of that exact same problem. So, and they're just poorly run. I don't think it has anything to do with regulations does help because obviously there's certain hoops they have to jump through. There's certain levels of liquidity or of reserves that they need to hold in their bank for their customer deposits. But it's not everything. It's not 100%. So if it's not 100%, then what's the point, right? If they don't have my money in the bank, then why am I putting my money there? Why am I letting them use my money? They're making risky investments. And then things go bad, and then they want the government to bail them out, and that's the part that I don't agree with. Oh, stop, Max. Brian Dowie, she didn't want to answer him at all. She was relieved when, his time was up for sure. Yeah, I watched some of this stuff, and I'm not against the older generation, older people, but I still cannot believe that we have literally 70, 80, sometimes 90-year-old people in this country who are in charge of stuff, right? Does that make any sense at all? How are these people supposed to make solid decisions about the direction of the country when they are so far out of touch with reality, and they've been out of touch with reality for decades? How are they supposed to know which direction the country needs to be headed in? I don't get it myself. But you're right, Brian. Yeah, we can hear bedhead yelling. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not against older people, but it's their time has come and gone. We need somebody in their 30s and their 40s, at least, and maybe in their 50s, right, who have good experience and wisdom and hopefully good judgment to be in charge of these things. And I cannot believe that everybody who's in charge of stuff is literally 100 years old. ASMR fan, thanks for stopping in. I do appreciate the support. You guys, Wadi's still killing it over there. Oh, yeah. Still going strong. Excellent. What's up, Al Mo? Hey, Ben. Sup, fan? Everybody saying hi. How goes it? Long time no see, Brian and Teddy. Hi, fan. Got to clean up the kids' paint. Nice little construction time in the house. So, yeah, so back to this. There's more of this out there. Here we go. This is Marsha Blackburn asking Janet Yellen.
Stops with you. You have really praised the IRA. I want to ask you one more.
IRA is the Inflation Reduction Act that the Biden administration put out, which is kind of counterintuitive because they're actually spending more money, and somehow that's supposed to reduce inflation.
Thing about that, because your statements contradict themselves somewhat. You talk about the IRA as a way to really bring prosperity, to lower inflation, to lower the debt. So do you really believe that we can spend our way to lower inflation, to debt reduction, and to economic prosperity with
Well,
the
I
amount of debt?
I believe that this law promotes clean energy
She's not
and
answering the question.
R&D and investment
But
in the United States.
that's not my question.
that
Do
will-
you believe we can spend our way to lower inflation? And I'm going to move on, obviously.
I've never said
we've
any
done there.
such.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how does it work when you're spending money to hang on, I got somebody here. Wadi.
What's
welcome.
up, Sean? Long time no see, man. How you doing?
Good, brother. How you been?
Good.
I just checked over on your channel and I was like, oh yeah, Wadi's going strong over there. Nice. You had like 40 people on it one time, which is super cool to see.
Yes, man. Every time I have like that big of a crowd, yeah, I gotta get used to managing the chat, but it's freaking awesome, man.
The chat can get away from you real quick.
Yeah.
It's definitely a learned thing. I still don't have it down. I need to get up to, hopefully one day I'll get up to, 40, 50 people and have problems like that.
Nah, man, 40, 50 people, bro. You selling yourself short. 100, 200.
Well, yeah. I mean, at some point in the future, hopefully that's a thing. The crowd, the live stream crowd is different, right? You get a lot of people to watch your videos, but not everybody wants to watch a live stream. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And then, of course, only a small portion of those, want to get in on the chat also and be part of it. So, yeah, its own little animal. Let's see. So anyway, we were talking about Janet Yellen, the fact that she's 187 years old and is in charge of money in this the Treasury in this country, and the
Wait, hold
Inflation
on.
the Inflation Reduction Act. What's that?
How old you said she is?
I think she's 187.
187.
Yeah. Like every other elected official in this country who's in charge of stuff is at least 100 years old. Here, I got this picture just for you.
Nice.
That is a solid picture. That's a handsome dude right there. So anyway, so they're asking her like about the Inflation Reduction Act. Oh, let me bring Crypto Lounge. Michael, welcome to the Forge.
What's going on, guys? Body, Sean, what's going on?
Welcome. What's going on?
No, not much, man. Just talking about the 187-year-old people we have running the country.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not good. Let me tell you, it's not good.
No, that was my question. Why are all of the people who are in charge of stuff in this country all really, really old?
Bro, simple question. That government was established in prehistoric time.
Yes.
There goes your answer.
Yes.
I had a discussion with one of my buddies about this, and he kind of attributed it to the 13 family theory. It's kind of a conspiracy a little bit, but
Sure.
The 13 families is kind of like the lineage, man. It's been bred into it. Nobody's outside of those families that are running governments across. And this is what I'm hearing. I don't know. I don't get into that too much, but it's a tight group, and that's why they're old, because whatever they die, they literally die in office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's just it. And I think all conspiracy theories always start with a little bit of truth, and there could be truth to that, but also the fact that once they get in, they never get out, right? They just if you're not like a congressman or senator, and you can bounce around in department to department, working your way up, and you're always in there until, like you said, until you die. And then they replace you, hopefully, with somebody, not quite 100 years old.
It's weird because this one of my buddy, he said there's some ancestral linkage between all of them. Each person in Congress and governments across the world, they're linked ancestrally. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I mean, I'm sure there's some truth to that, some evidence there. But it drives me crazy to think. And think about this, like when you go and you look at, a Joe Biden or somebody else who really has not ever had a real job in his life. And then they're in the government, right? In the government business for decades. Like when was the last time they were actually in touch with a regular person, with the regular citizen out there, right? They're so far beyond understanding what regular life is for people. How can they govern that way? Right.
Yep.
They have no idea what's going on in the real world, but everybody wants to say, oh, I'm for the little guy. Well, you were never a little guy, right? You got the Clintons, you got Trump. I mean, even Trump, right?
Yeah.
How does he know how the little guy lives, how the regular guy lives? He doesn't, right? He's been a super wealthy business guy, his entire life.
Yeah, no, you're right, Sean. That's why everything's so jacked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so out of touch. And then when you can tell that, you can see the uncomfortable nature when they are out in public, when they're entrenched, during campaign mode, they're very uncomfortable, and they really don't know how to talk, to the layman. And you could tell, man, like those campaign speeches, they're very cringy. You know what I mean? They're just not organic at all.
Yeah, and they really reduce everything down to the lowest common denominator, and usually the people. And I've never been to a political rally. Yeah, that's not me. But when I look at them on TV and you see the kind of people who are there, I don't want to say they're not the brightest people, I think, in the country. I think maybe they're how do I put it? I'm not trying to be rude to them, but I'm saying maybe they're more grounded, I guess, in their communities, and they maybe don't really understand how politics work, right? They don't understand how the system works. But they're there to, rah-rah on their candidate who obviously doesn't care for them or their life. And I rarely ever see. I had one of my a brother-in-law He's campaigning. He was campaigning down in Arizona for a certain position, a justice of the peace or something.
Hmm.
And he's a super nice guy. And I'm thinking, and I'm telling him, I'm like, I don't, even in a small town, justice of the peace position, I said, it's all political, right? That's where everything starts. I said, I just don't think you have it, in you to really, beat somebody and go out and talk shit, basically about your opponent, be able to do those kind of things that you have to do to get ahead in the political world. And I mean, he didn't get elected, but and it was probably for the best, because I don't think he would have done very well in that political position.
Yeah, Sean, it starts at the lower level, man. A lot of the corruption is ground level, like in the lower municipalities, in the little small town. The small town governments, man, they're very corrupt.
Yeah,
very corrupt.
That was the big deal. Why he wanted to run, because of the corruption that he found there. He's an investigator as well. He was on the SWAT team in Phoenix, and then retired from that, got injured, and now he's trying to pursue. So he's very popular. So, and he's known around there. He's just, man, I think I would have hated to see him in that position and just getting chewed up. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You're right. And a lot of people like him, if you do get elected, they start off great. They start off with the best intentions in mind. And then, the next thing you know, they got to be doing, political favors to keep themselves getting elected, because they have to think about the next time, and they got to do favors. And then all of a sudden you're a slimy politician.
It's crazy, bro. I don't know if you guys have been following that East Palestine situation that's going on in Ohio with the train wreck, with that chemical spill out. Well, that mayor was not actually the mayor. He was like the part-time mayor. I've never heard of a part-time mayor, but he works at I think he works at the local. He's like a local plumber, but he's like part-time mayor. I mean, that's how it is, man. In these really small towns, it's very, very weird. There's no structure, and when something like that happens, it's chaos. You know what I mean? Because there's really no leadership at all.
Yeah, nobody's in charge. Nobody knows what to do. And then the government, like the Southern Railroad, or I think Southern Railroad, they can go in, they can just run those people over. And then the government can come in and not want to take responsibility for it, and they make you run those people over. So there's no foundation there of leadership in a lot of small towns across the country. What are you going to say, Waddy?
Oh, no. That had nothing to do with that. I was gonna say, because I saw anti-rock in the chat, so just want to let them know I already sent it. So make sure you check your wallet in a few.
Stump Rider, thanks for showing up. I'm just going to go through the chat here real quick.
Sure.
Stump Rider, Anti-Rock, thanks for being here, bud. Appreciate it. Lazy Jedi. You guys going to stream later on today? Lazy Jedi, thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. John Chris Bala, what's up, everyone? John Chris Bala. Hey, I hope you're doing well. I am going to be up in Seattle again. I was up there, I don't know, some weeks ago, but it was the quickest trip ever. There was no chance to meet up, but maybe this next.
Really?
I'm going.
Sorry, guys. I'll be back. My daughter turned off the computer.
He just faded out. That's funny. It's funny. He got rugged by his daughter. But yeah, John, I'll be up there next month, and I'll try to hit you up. Hopefully, I'll have some extra time. John Crispala, what's up? Let's see. Let's get down here. 187 and available. Yeah. These people are just old people are fine, but they shouldn't be running. They shouldn't be running everything. Because I tagged you on a post. That's too funny. Did you tag me on a post here? Let's see.
Yeah, we need those term limits, Sean, but they won't allow it. They control all that voting, so we'll never get term limits.
Let's see. I have a question. So I'm on Twitter, and I've never understood this. If I go to notifications, right, and somebody tags me in something, how do I see what's the original tweet they're tagging me in? Because if I click on this, it doesn't go anywhere. It just says, hey, like, I know I'm not doing it right. Like, where is the original?
It should be attached to it. Sometimes there's a thread link that goes to it.
Yeah, I don't see I don't know. I'm doing something wrong. Anyway.
Well, it could. That tweet could have been deleted. If it's deleted, it's not going to show it or
No,
edit it. You know
I
what I
see
mean?
this. I see this all the time where I'm like, somebody retweets something I'm tagged in, but I can never find the original post. Because I want to see what am I tagged in. I don't know. That's something I got to figure out. If you guys know, let me know in the comments if you can see the screen here. Give her Larry's number. Yeah, Larry's available, isn't he? I'm sure Janet Yellen would love to date Larry. He's got his own YouTube channel. Let's see.
I don't think she's got any time to date. Well, she's got a lot on her plate.
She does have a lot on her plate. Yeah, we were just talking about. She was being questioned by or Senator Blackburn, who was asking her, in this, what do they call it? The Inflation Reduction Act, right? That they put out, which basically is spend more money to reduce inflation, right? Which is stupid. That doesn't make sense. And she's just asking her, like, hey, do you really think that spending more money and incurring more debt is the way to go to reduce inflation? And of course, she wouldn't answer. She just kind of beat around the bush on that one. Steve, a Canadian, thanks for showing up. Waddy was.
Sean, you already know she doesn't believe that. That's just a lie. That's placation, bro. Because just think about all this money they just printed. They're about to print for these. I don't even know if you want to call them bailouts because they call them loans now. This is what's happening. I don't understand how they don't realize how in the hell are these banks going to pay these loans back? Well, they're going to crash eventually.
They're not. Yeah, they're not going to pay them back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's going to affect inflation. They say, oh, it's not because it's a loan. They're going to pay us back with interest. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and then the feds, if they're going to spend more money, right, which means they're ultimately going to have to print more money because they have to raise the debt ceiling. So they're going to need to print more money, and then they want to spend that money, and then they want to get further and further in debt with that money printing, and then somehow that's supposed to reduce inflation, which is obviously not the way things work. So I think this is, and I've used the term controlled demolition. Before, and I've heard that from a couple other YouTubers. That's what they're doing. They are imploding our system so they can start over.
No, it's a planned demolition. I was saying that. I said that when FTX hit because it was so structured. And the way they're sheltering Sam Bankman-Friedman, that dude should be in jail. But the way they're sheltering him, they got him in this little box, and they're trying to keep him from actually talking. Because when he was talking on Twitter, they shut him up real quick. They arrested that dude really fast because he was doing all these interviews, man. He was really letting it out,
Yes.
So next thing you know, they pulled that leash in, because he was running his mouth on a lot of stuff that he really shouldn't have been talking about.
Yeah, and then you find out he's working with the SEC and Gary Gensler, meeting with them, trying to propose their own version of regulation for centralized exchanges, where he was going to get a sweet deal. And kind of grandfathered into where he didn't have to do anything, and then the SEC was going to push them as the the poster child for centralized exchanges, and obviously that didn't go very well.
If you think about it, Sean, it was brilliant. The whole implosion, the way they did it. The way that shit was set up with FTX, with all those extensions, with all those buyouts that Alameda was involved. If you look at that tree of how many projects and platforms and things that they bought out and took ownership of. It was perfect for them to pull that plug. It was a perfect stick of dynamite to go off,
Yeah, just wrecked, dozens and dozens of companies out there and took them down. Just the way now we have. I'm going to get into John Crispala said, just let it go to recession already. Spending way too much for something that will end up taking place eventually. Yeah. I know we're already kind of in that recession, and I don't know if I can't decide if they're not ready yet, and they have to extend this, to a certain point. Maybe they're waiting for a Fed now to come out. Maybe they're waiting for, to figure out what they're going to do about CBDCs. I don't know until maybe they don't have their next system in place yet. So they got to drag this shit out for another, year or two.
Yeah, I totally agree with was it John that said that? We need a reset. It's going to hurt, but the reset is needed, man. They got to let it collapse, man, because they keep pumping money into these zombie institutions. Bank of America should have been gone years ago. It shouldn't even be here. It shouldn't even be an operational bank right now, but it is. It's really unfortunate,
Yeah, and then with Signature Bank, John's mentioning also that Did you guys see the Fed set up? They're looking for potential buyers for Signature, but those buyers aren't going to be able to purchase the crypto assets of that company or of that
Yeah, I
bank.
saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they want to basically shut out crypto.
Yeah.
Whoever buys it, they don't want crypto. It's not crypto. Crypto's not the problem. These problems existed in the banking way before crypto was a thing. If you really think about it, I mean, way back before the creation of Bitcoin, we had big
and
time
mostly
banking issues.
some sort of criminal activity out there. What they're doing with the money. They're taking everybody's. Actually, what's funny is that they shut it down before anything happened. Signature Bank wasn't even in trouble, with liquidity yet, but they went ahead and they're like, yeah, we're going to take this opportunity to shut you guys down, so we can just knock this one off the list, and go down to the next one. So, yeah, and I personally don't believe they're trying to kill crypto. I think they're just trying to corral it into the big banks, to JP Morgans, and have them control it. Give all get all crypto to Wall Street, and then that way it's under the government's control again.
No, you're right. Because if you look at it now, it is wild west. It's very widespread. They can't control it. They cannot control it. It's too much. And a lot, Congress they don't really understand blockchain. They're starting to get there, but they're light years away from actually fully understanding it. And they got to trim it down in order to actually, like you said, corral. That's the perfect word, man. That's what they're doing.
Yep. John also says, guess what the positions for big five banks, which is under Fed's control, then what's next? CBDC rollout. Yeah, I'm just not sure if they're ready with the CBDC yet. I don't think they've made those decisions. I don't know if this is going to be in conjunction with, the XRP or Ripple case, and that's going to set off, a chain of events that finally leads to the switch, or a slow rollout. However it's going to happen, I really don't know.
What do you think about Gensler doubling down, man, on the proof of stake, basically saying it's a security, whether you like it or not?
I think we knew that was coming. That's not a surprise to me. What was surprising, though, was having the Attorney General of New York now going after Ethereum and going after KuCoin.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that. And I think she got her marching orders from, I know where she got them. I'm sure Gary gave her a call and be like, hey, go do this and help me out. We'll save a position for you.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that Attorney General's office. That is the toughest in the land. And if they target it, if that's the target for the New York Attorney's office, that's not good, bro. It's not good for Ethereum.
No, it's not. And it's like I said, it's on purpose. So there was somebody, I forget whose video I was watching, but they said they have an insider from the Attorney General's office who was told exactly what to do. Go, see if you can sign up for an account on KuCoin, and then purchase Ethereum. And they were told specifically to do that. Buy it and then sell it, and then that way they can bring a case. They could say, hey, somebody in this state got onto KuCoin and signed up for an account and bought Ethereum, and that's an unregistered security, and that's against the law. So here's what happened. So they filed the paperwork with KuCoin and with the state, knowing or assuming that KuCoin wasn't going to respond. KuCoin's not in this country. They don't give a shit about the New York Attorney General's office. But what this is going to do is this allows them to go to court, have the KuCoin not show up, right? No attorneys from KuCoin is going to show up, and they're going to get the win automatically. And now they're going to have a court case that says, well, Ethereum is a unregistered security. Then they're going to kick KuCoin. I don't know if you get on KuCoin, Waddy?
Yeah, I know I can.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah. So then they're going to try to kick KuCoin out of New York.
No, but you see, technically speaking, KuCoin has been out of New York for like 2-3 years. And then I don't know if you ever heard of Clearview Value.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's basically promoting the crap out of KuCoin. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I don't have an issue with KuCoin, but now the Attorney General there is, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this thing, but it's going to be a very quick court case, especially if KuCoin never responds, which they haven't.
Yeah.
If that gives them a win right there, and they get to declare Ethereum unregistered security, I think this is trouble, big trouble.
I mean, but even if they win, like you said yourself earlier, KuCoin doesn't belong like in the United States. It's not a United States company. So
No,
what
but you
do they
have
care?
it's not a problem for KuCoin. It's a problem for Ethereum. Ethereum now
Yeah.
will have a court case that confirms that Ethereum is an unregistered security.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
well,
that's the
you know what?
thing. That's how they're establishing that. That's slick, man. That's some
I mean,
dirty
smart.
shit right there, man. It
It's
is very
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really shock me, man, because that attorney general's office is ruthless, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a badass office, man. They don't play around, and they win a lot too. But the way
Yeah.
if that is true, if that is what's going on, is again, man, it's not good for Ethereum at all.
No. And any staking token, I think we knew, because Gary Gensler said staking, is definitely leads to unregistered security. So it was just a matter of time before we heard him say that. So all they need is a few other states to do something the same, and then they can run it at a federal level.
See,
And then
this is what
then you're screwed.
this is what really, Waddy. I'm sorry, bro. This is what
No,
bothers me
it's all right,
about
man.
Go ahead,
I
brother, and I'll start after you. Go ahead, brother.
No, I just say, that I found it interesting regardless, because why, like, Ethereum would make such a move of going from proof of work to proof of stake, and then it almost feel like they were waiting for Ethereum to actually become proof of stake so they could start attacking crypto.
Yeah, is that a picture of Vitalik? Damn, he's not looking.
That's so funny.
Is that a futuristic mugshot? God damn. Hey,
Yeah,
you know what? This is the thing, though. Why did you took the words right out of my mouth, man? Why did he do that? That's the thing. What was the agenda? Was it really a wholesome move? Did he really just want to, increase, the situation, make it more formidable for what's to come, for the platform in the future? Or did he?
Yeah.
Was he pushed to do this? Was he told that if he didn't do this, there was, unfortunate, ramifications? It's so strange, man. Because when he announced that, I was like, why would you move from a secure situation, proof of work? I know it consumes a lot of energy, but it's very secure. And there's not a lot of back doors. I would say there's not a lot of back doors at all when it comes to proof of stake.
Yep.
Man, proof of stake is a revolving freaking door, and it has a really big door in the back. So I'm like, that door is specifically made for the government. It just reeks of centralization. What the hell was he doing? It's crazy, man. I don't get it. I think the government's already bought it. I think they control Ethereum 2.0 to this day. And I know that's conspiratorial as hell, but I think they control it right now.
Yep.
Well, you got Joseph. You have very high level people involved in Consensus and the Ethereum Foundation. So it wouldn't surprise me if they already have control of it. But what are they going to do with it? Are they going to use it for one of these? I don't think they could. I don't think they could use Ethereum to really move money around. And so I don't know what they would end up doing with it. Like, what's their play here?
It's like a kid, an infant jumping into a car. It's like they don't know how to drive. They're going to sit in the driver's seat. That's the way I see the government jumping into blockchain. They really don't know anything about it. Maybe a handful, like I said earlier, but this play on Ethereum, it's a control grab. I mean, and that's the I wouldn't say number one. Yeah, I guess you could. When it comes to applications, and platforms, tokens and things of that nature, NFT platforms, it hosts the bulk of all of that. You know what I mean? So to go and get that type of control of crypto, why not? Ethereum would be the best opportunity for the government to control crypto, is to grab control of Ethereum. I think that's what we just saw happen.
Yeah, I mean, could very well end up that way, which I do believe. Look at, obviously in the beginning, everybody's crypto journey starts somewhere, and you have that belief that like this is really it's going to stick it to the man. It's going to be super decentralized. I'm going to be able to do what I want. Nobody's going to be able to see what I'm doing with my money, right? And none of that stuff is going to happen. Literally none of it. Everything is going to be centralized. I don't believe there's anything 10 years from now is going to be running decentralized where some central authority does not control it. I just don't think they're going to let it happen. And I don't think there's anybody out there that can stop them. You've got the IMF, the WF, the World Banks, all the central banks of and the large governments of this world are not going to allow that to happen without them having some sort of control over it.
Yeah. You probably have a
So-
small pockets of it, Sean, here and there, but they're going to be rogue, like super rogue.
Yeah.
And I seen this coming, man. You remember when MetaMask announced that they were going to open up the IPs? They're going to basically let everybody's IP be full, open house, like open gate
Yep.
for the government.
Yep.
That's when I knew it was coming. That's when I knew all bets are off. DeFi it's going to be tough for the DeFi space going into the future, because if MetaMask is opening up those IPs to the government, who knows what else is going to do that? What other entity is going to do that?
Right. Yeah. Scary times ahead. But hopefully we're going to be able to figure out how to take advantage, of that financially. I mean, that's the thought anyway. That's kind of why I'm here, to kind of put myself in a position, right? If I can't stop him, I do get in this argument all the time with some people that I work with, and because they don't understand it either. All they know, they just see it as a kind of a conspiratorial thing, like, oh, this is the CBDC. I kind of explain to them what a CBDC is, what it can do, what it can be used for, good and bad. And then they're like, well, why are you helping, put that out there? I'm like, well, I'm not helping put it out there. I have nothing to do with the CBDC, right? Nobody's asking me, for advice on how to build something like that. But I'm trying to keep myself surrounded by people who know things, and then try to put myself in a position to benefit from whatever's coming down the road, right? I can't stop it. So how can we benefit from it? And that's what, and they don't get it. They think somehow, with me talking about it on YouTube, that I'm, furthering the government's evil overreach. So,
No, I mean, crypto has always been a threat, Sean, to the norm, especially
Right.
to the way the current monetary system, the way it is. It's a big threat, man. It's a big threat. And
Tim
they don't like
says,
it.
Tim says those banks ended up with digital assets. JP Morgan, et cetera, probably was the plan in the beginning. Yeah, and I know JP Morgan is helping bail out these banks, and they're going to take whatever assets they want. Without a doubt. Let me get through some of this. Here's the conversation control here. Tim, 100%. We'll all go to 5 to 6 banks. Yeah, there is a list of systemically important banks that will be the ones that kind of run everything at some point in the future. We need to make what we can, because we'll end up paying it back in the long run. Yep. Would love to see Elon start his own bank. That would be interesting.
What a cool and Chris. Everyone.
I don't think they would allow him, Sean. They would stonewall him.
Yeah,
You
they
know what
have
I
to
mean?
approve a bank
Yeah.
charter, right? They got to approve that. Eddie T, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. What's up, Steve? Bob Altamari, thank you for stopping in. Sean, get ready for CBDCs. Yep, it's coming. It is coming. I know it. We all know it, and that's kind of why I think that's why a lot of us are here, just to keep an eye on things.
I also have a theory, like probably the reason why they are attacking stable coins is because of the CBDC.
Well, they're going to end up using, so there's going to be a stable coin attached to the CBDC, right? And then they're going to figure out which one it is that they want that's going to benefit them the most, and they're going to get rid of all the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't have, multiple stable coins out there that people can get their hands on and try to get away from that CBDC, because that CBDC is for control.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You can't control people if they got alternate, alternate financial rails to get around it.
Absolutely. USDC is going to be, pretty sure that was going to be one of the top runner-ups, I guess, if you would.
Yeah. What's funny is that instant when USDC depegged, I said, it'll be back. They're not going to let it fail. It'll be back. And within 2 days, it was pretty much back pegged.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was thinking, like, if it doesn't repeg by Monday, then that's it. It's done. But by Sunday, it was already repegged.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's attached to Coinbase, and Coinbase has very deep pockets and politicians as well. They're not going to let USDC fail.
Yeah, they got one of the best money managers in the planet too, BlackRock.
Yep, BlackRock, exactly. Yep. Joy T, thanks for popping in here. Queen, phone about to die. Still like to stream. I appreciate it. Yeah, like and like the stream, everybody. I would appreciate that. Maybe throw me a sub if you haven't already. Still trying to work on, next stop is 2,000, right, Waddy? Next stop, 2,000 subs.
Heck yeah, for sure.
Just grinding it out, one sub at a time.
Hey,
thank you.
I wanted to ask you guys about USDT too. When we get back to it, because that camp is very quiet through all this. They've been very mute, and I wonder what's going on because they had their issues too prior to all this.
Well, you know why they're quiet? Because they don't want anybody asking them questions, because they don't have the reserves that they say they have. I can almost guarantee it. So they're not going to create any waves. They're just going to keep doing their thing. But I think they're going to be the next one that fails.
Yeah, they're next in line.
Government is going to take them out. They're going to do something, and they're going to, everybody's going to see that they don't have the reserves. Let's see, Maddie B.
Which one you think is next?
USDT.
I thought about it too, but you want to know what's keeping USDT in place? Every freaking exchange got it. Literally, even if you go to MEXC, the only pair as far as stablecoin is just USDT.
Yeah, but that'll go away, I think. And every exchange will delist it. I mean, they'll have to, right? I remember all it takes. Remember at the start of my stream, the rumor is the only thing it takes to start a bank run, right? If you say if you get a couple of big people suggest, hey, USDT, I saw the books. They don't have the money they say they have, right? So you might want to think about moving over to USDC, and then all of a sudden, guess what? They're done. That's all it takes.
Yeah, see, that's the uneasy feeling that I get. I mean, it's so predominant. USDT is everywhere, just like Waddy said. So when that does happen, that's going to be one hell of an explosion that's going to go off into the space.
Yep, exactly. Right. Yeah, and rumors is what's going to start it. Just like Moody's, the Moody's bank rating agency, which is a total farce because they just get paid by the banks to rate them. Obviously, it didn't go in SVB's favor, but they downgraded. They knew what was going on the whole time. They knew they had some issues that they were trying to work on, and all they had to do was give them a few extra days to sell and get that liquidity they needed to satisfy all the deposits or withdrawals that were coming. But Moody's decided, I'm going to downgrade them right now to junk. And then that way, all of the brokers out there for these businesses who have accounts are going to start calling their clients and be like, oh, shoot, sounds like they have troubles. You need to move your money. And that's the end of the bank.
Yeah.
So, and they could have just waited, a few days to let them get that liquidity back, but they didn't. They basically caused the implosion.
Yeah, and then they blamed the VCs right after they spooked them. That shit was crazy. They just downgraded the whole damn banking system.
We all know how it works. If somebody called me and they said, "Hey, your credit union, where you got all your monies at, which I have a credit union, they look like they're having some issues." Guess where I'm going, right? I'm online, unloading my accounts. I'm going down there trying to pull cash out. I'm doing whatever, to save my money. I know, even though I know that they also have their own version of FDIC. The credit unions aren't backed by FDIC. It's something a little different. But my small account is going to be fine. Ultimately, I'm sure I'll get my money back. But I don't want to have that inconvenience, right? If I've got 10 grand sitting there, I want that money, right? I don't want it tied up. While this bank figures out, where they're going to get bailed out from to give me my money back. So and we all know that, right? It's just human nature.
Well, you got Yellen that came out. They apparently, and you know what? We should have already known this, that all of the deposits were not going to be covered fully. But initially they came out, they said that. Now they're double back and they're coming back and they're recircling and saying, well, pump the brakes. We're not going to be able to do everybody's account. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to do the most important ones, which is the SVB. And I think some made a signature. But as far as everything else,
every account on signature.
That's all we're doing.
Every account on signature got their money, even above and beyond the policy limit. But Janet Yellen was saying, and just like you were saying, she's getting quizzed by the a congressman from Oklahoma, and he's saying, "Hey, I just want to know if there are bank runs at my local banks, you're going to back all of the uninsured deposits of those banks too, right?" And she said, essentially, no, we're going to make a decision, if the bank is important enough, right? And they decide that bank is too important to lose. Otherwise, they'll just let the other ones go.
Yeah, it's elected. It's what it is. Whatever's important. The SVB one, that was big. I totally understand that because there were some big entities that were wrapped up into that. I get that. It's like that too big to fail type of shit. I understand that because that could have been detrimental.
Well,
a lot of people were not going to get paid either. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are waiting on paychecks too that following week. So
you knew it when Janet Yellen was like a day earlier saying, "No, well, we're not going to do the bailouts again. Like that's not going to happen." And then the very next day or 2 days later, they're like, "Oh, well, I guess we're going to bail them out." They didn't have a choice. Yeah. It could have been a very, very bad day on that Monday. Had they not done that, it could have. And I warned my wife. I'm like, there may be shit popping off here, tomorrow if they don't get the situation straightened out.
They had to do that. SVB, they had to do it. They had to do it. But the thing is, though, what's really, really crazy about it is now they're questioning the FDIC now. Do we really need it? Is it actually necessary? Is it sustainable? Because if you think about what's happening and what may happen in the future, let's say a month down the road, we may even see more failures. Is there enough money? You know what I mean? Because originally, I think the actual coverage was around 100,000, 150,000, was it, before it went to 250? Because it wasn't always 250. It was lower than that, but they kept raising the ceiling because things kept getting worse. So are we going to raise the ceiling even more? Is it going to be an unlimited coverage, or is it just going to go away because shit is about to hit the fan, man?
It won't be unlimited because they'll decide which banks to just let fail, and they're not going to spend their money on those banks.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not good, man.
So John says Gensler running out of bullets. A lot of these allegations will most likely not have a track to run on. They're just narratives to peddle out to the media. Yeah, they have to control the narrative out there, and they have to keep, saying crypto bad. These banks are failing because of crypto, which obviously the banks are failing because of poor management. And probably theft. Let's see. Wait until all the major crypto companies get together and coordinate a legal attack on these idiots. Yeah, I would love to see that. Unfortunately, crypto is still too tribal, and we can't get any of these large crypto companies together to fight, right? Because now we have and I find this humorous as well, and I won't find any joy in Ethereum getting taken down, and going through the ringer for the next couple of years, through court. If that's what it comes to, but they were absolutely no friend to XRP, right? The Ethereum crowd was downright mean. Let's just say mean, and basically blamed XRP. It's definitely a security. They're going to get screwed. They need to go away. They're a useless token anyway. And this was the ETH crowd. So of course, when I heard the whole thing with the Attorney General of New York. I chuckle to myself. I'm like, yeah, guess what you guys got coming? And guess who's not going to help you? Right? Even though they have all of the lawyers, that have all this experience now dealing with the SEC, are they going to help them? Probably not.
That is interesting. The tables have turned. Because it's looking pretty good for, it's looking pretty good for XRP right now. And all of a sudden, Ethereum is like big target on their back. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to see Ethereum get attacked and go down. That's bad for crypto, on a whole. So hopefully, well, I don't know what can be done, right? We're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out.
Well, Sean, you know how the natural order of things works, man. Something will step up. We'll get something, a platform or a project or something. It's always something that's waiting in the woods that'll step up and kind of assume a position. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and next company up, right? That'll be it. And none of these crypto companies are too big to fail. But what I think happened, and Ethereum, look at Ethereum is huge, right? They can afford to fight, right? They don't have to just roll over and play dead and agree to a fine and then agree to an unregistered security listing. Like that's, they certainly don't need to do that. They can fight it. They've got the money. They're just as big, if not bigger than Ripple.
My question is, how does this affect the layer twos? You know what I mean? If let's say this goes horribly wrong for Ethereum, and it just goes downhill, how does that affect the layer twos?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably not very positively, I would assume. But remember that this is just Ethereum goes down in the U.S., right? The rest of the world, it carries on. Just like, even if XRP, let's say, and I don't believe this will happen, but if XRP was deemed a security here in the U.S., the Ripple, they move on, right? 95% of their business is outside the country anyway. Right?
Yep.
And they said that. They said, well, we'll just have our headquarters in Europe. It doesn't make a big deal, for them as a business. And yeah, XRP will take a hit, price wise, because it's bad news. But ultimately, it will come back and flourish in the rest of the world.
Oh, that's what the CEO said. He'll walk through the door and close it shut.
You close it, and he'll move. We'll move out of the country, right? And I don't blame him. I would too. There is no framework really for a crypto like that to be registered as a security here in this country. It's not set up for that. So, and there's no way for anybody to purchase it at that point. So what would be the point of, and I've heard people say, well, why don't they just do the right thing and just register themselves as a security and then move on? Who cares? Well, it doesn't work that way. Like that's not a thing. What happens to all the holders in this country who hold XRP, right? I'm not a what do you call them? A qualified investor where you can buy private securities, right? I'm not, I'm not certified for that, or whatever the term they use. So you're not going to be able to hold that stuff, and you're not going to be able to buy and sell it.
Accredited.
There you go, an accredited investor. You have to go. Now you have to have broker dealers are the only ones who are going to be able to, buy and sell these things, and you can have an account with them. But that's it. That's just government control. But there's no reason to do that in this country.
That sucks too, because that's that third party shit. They're going to get a cut too. Yeah, I don't want that.
No,
I don't want that at all.
Cool. And Chris, thanks for popping in. Wait, what did I just tune into? I'm assuming you're talking about this photo here of looks like future Vitalik, maybe at a booking at a sheriff station near you. Not sure. Not sure.
It looks like they just drug him out of a strip club.
I know. Dude looks rough. What's going on, Sean? Not much. Cool. Thanks for, like I said, man, thanks for popping in. I always appreciate the support. Steve the Canadian says, Sean, you are doing nothing but making the people more aware. If anything, digital is the way the world is going. So it's good to see people realistically informing people of what they're shooting for. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I view myself. Yes. I'm just being more informed. And, I try to inform the people around me, but they don't want to hear it. So, I'm not normally the kind of guy that says, I told you so, but I'm going to walk in there one day and be like, I told you so. No, you fools. I got all my money.
Works.
I got all my money here now because I was in crypto and you guys got jack shit. Now you got a CBDC to deal with. So good luck.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because at times I also think about like, man, when I started, if some of my friends would have actually listened to me, they would have made some good gains. But since they didn't believe in crypto,
yeah,
forget it.
Yeah, crypto is tough to get into. Hi, Bree. Thanks for popping in, Bree. I appreciate it. I see your channel is doing very well. Your ASMR channel. It's not always good to see success out there. Tim Shea, hi, Bree. Let's see. You ever thought about making some shorts? I've gotten tons of new subs from shorts. Yes, I think about it almost daily, but I just don't do it. Right? So I find it's. I don't want to say I don't have the time because we can all make time for something that's important, but I just find myself not motivated to do it. I guess I know that I need to and I should do it, but
you could just come out. Hey, I'm Sean. So this is what's going on with crypto today. 3 things done.
I don't do anything with this. Right. I don't record anything with my phone. I've not done that yet. The 2 shorts that I have out there are actually just clips, from a video that I've done, which is also one way to do it. But for some reason, this scares me. Right. When I'm recording with this, for some reason, it freaks me out. I have no problem getting in front of the camera here. and getting on anybody's live stream. But as soon as I turn this phone on, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, the dynamics are very different, but it's very effective. I agree with her. It's very effective.
I need to just start. I need to get a mount for my vehicle and just have this in the in the car or my truck and just talk to it, and just do some videos. Even not posting. I know that's what probably will help me if I just start recording some shorts, but not really post them yet until I'm ready, and maybe get a little more used to it.
Yeah, you could like just record an hour of just talking crypto, bro, and then cut it up, chop it up, edit it into like multiple shorts, go like that too.
Yeah. Bob Altamari says, my understanding is that CBDCs will be programmed with an expiration date, which forces you to spend it. Well, and I see Tim answered that's what they're currently doing in China, right? And that's one of those evils that we can see. I don't know if they'll do that here. They're going to have to be very careful, right? Other countries are not used to the freedoms that we're used to, here in the U.S. And it's, that's their country has, their things like the UK, they don't have the same freedoms. They don't have freedom of speech. So a lot of countries will accept more control, right? That we here would just outright, reject on the spot. So they're going to have to go into a CBDC here in this country very, very carefully and get people warmed up to the idea, kind of try to get them to trust it. Like, hey, we're not trying to control you. It's just a more efficient way to move money, and to keep everything clean. And there's no extra printing and more, they're going to have to get people used to it and feel safe. And that's going to take a little bit of time.
Another thing too, Sean, I think we may get screwed on an exchange rate. And when we get to that point where it's going to replace the dollar, we're going to get screwed, man. I just believe so. When it comes to the exchange, it's not going to be one to one. I guarantee you.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to. There's too many dollars out there right now, and it can't cover the debt. So what's going to happen is they need to be deflationary, and they need to get our monetary system under control, right? That's the whole reason for this. So they cannot, they can't have excess money out there. So, I think it'll, my own opinion, we'll probably get like 1 to 10 to 1.
Yeah.
If you got 10,000 in the bank, they're going to give you 1,000.
That's going to start a civil war, bro. I believe that could possibly start a fucking civil war.
I think what'll happen though, at the same time, obviously if you deflate the money supply, you're going to have to deflate prices as well equally, right? So now your gallon of gas is going to cost you 80 cents or 37 cents or whatever, instead, to make things the ratio properly. If they don't do that, obviously, there's going to be civil war and it's going to get real ugly. If they just take away everybody's money and say, hey, good luck, but the prices are all still really high because we have super high inflation, which is why we're in this problem. That won't work. So that's one of those things they're going to have to figure out, because like you said, it'll be real bad times, and the government can't handle that.
No, they can't.
They can't, right? And so they're going to need to kind of have kid gloves on in the very beginning and get people used to it, right? Like I said, in other countries, they don't really have the freedoms we do, so it's going to be a lot easier to control that. Let's see, China, but it's a horrible way to do things. But just to explain why China wants to do it, because China is a country that has absolute control over everything. What you say, what you can't say, what you eat, where people go, their travel patterns. And that's a way that they can limit things, right? And they can stop people from gaining wealth, right? So there's no excess money at the end of the month. You can't save it. They say if you don't use it, then it's going to go away. It just disappears. It goes back to the Central Bank of China, and then you'll get your next allotment, next month or whatever, however it is they have it worked out. And that is a great way to control a population, right? If you can't ever save any money, you're never going to be able to move, right? You're never going to be able to move up in your status. You're never going to be able to move out of the country because you're never going to have enough money for that, right? And that's 100% control.
Yep.
Let's see, Maddie B. Too sorry not to say tooth. Have had a drink. Okay, Maddie B's had a drink.
Yeah,
see, cheers,
you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
So
Design DNA. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Maddie Tom, let's see, getting down here, trying to get through this. Hey, DNA. John Crispell says, I deal quite a bit with the eastern side of the globe. It's quite embarrassing to see the rest of the world right now is laughing at us while as they move forward with crypto. Yeah, it is. I'm not over there like you are, but I can just imagine, the differences. They're pro crypto. They understand, the fiat situation we have, and money doesn't last forever. All of these monetary systems that are built, I think on average are about 100 years, and then they go away and need to transfer into something else. I get it. I'm all for it myself, right? We're going to go digital. It totally makes sense, right? That's just the next, level of progression that we have to go through. There's no reason to fight it. It doesn't have to be evil, but the government will, ultimately make it that way to get their control. But yeah, we need to be more open to this type of adoption, and not be afraid of it. But who knows? Our country is quite unique. Let's see, Sean, just repurpose your live stream and videos, take clips, expand it. Yeah, that it would be easier, but then again, that's just more time I have to spend doing this type of stuff, and it's already taxed. I feel like I'm taxed enough just doing what I'm doing. I'm doing 3 live streams a week, and then you trying to do a couple of videos on top of that is almost everything I can do. Almost. I probably could squeeze some more in there. Less TV time. Next presidential candidate needs to be pro crypto. Who's that going to be? Who's the next presidential candidate?
You know what? Now, I live in Texas. You guys know this. And our governor, he's very pro crypto, especially Bitcoin. He's pro Bitcoin. I think Greg Abbott, he'd go for it if he could make it up there. I don't think he'll ever make it up there to the White House, but if he did, that would be the guy. He's very pro crypto.
Yeah, I know Trump was not pro crypto at one point, and then all of a sudden he's got his own NFT collection. So I don't know if he can make it. I don't know if he can make it on the ballot again. I think that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's supposed to be arrested in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, well, that's what he said, right? I mean, nobody else has said that. He's the one who kind of threw that out there. He's just expecting. I think with what's going on in the court case or in the grand jury and all that stuff, they may get him on something. Who knows? And I know there's a lot of people out there that say if he does get arrested, he's definitely going to be elected in the next time. So,
oh yeah, that's one of the requirements. You got to have a rap sheet.
Got to have.
yeah,
you got to prove yourself. Let's see. Selmo FUD, how you doing? Hopefully your Saturday is going well. Selmo FUD says congrats again, Wadi.
Thank you, Selmo. Appreciate that.
Catch you all later. Take care, Tim. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, sir. Thanks for popping in here. Trump going to pull an Andrew Tate card? I don't know. Andrew Tate's not doing so hot right now.
Yeah, Mr. Tate is he's in a whole lot of hot water.
I was reading some stuff here. It sounds like they don't have anything on him, and they just want to keep holding him, over and over again while they try to, figure out what to really get him on.
Bro, if that's the case, he needs to sue the pants off of them. If that's the case, man, my Lord, he's got one hell of a lawsuit. Well, I mean, the people who are there's a lot of people that are claiming that they have evidence. I mean, you can get some slander lawsuits going because they pretty much ruined all of his monetary movement that he had. He lost a lot of money. He had a lot of contracts, man, and they got canceled. So,
but only if those people live here, right? And a lot of those people, some of the people that were accusing him of, this whatever sexual laws he was breaking, are in the other countries. They don't have the same laws here. Like a lot of those, they don't care. If you lie and you have somebody arrested. Right, that's a Western. I think that's a Western thing.
I think he can do a little something. I mean, he's got to be able to do something. But there are some remote areas. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That whole thing is crazy, though.
It is crazy, and it's Andrew Tate's one of those guys who I guess you either love him or you hate him, and I do like the way he presents his information that he believes, but he had to have known that there was a target on him, right? He pisses off
Yeah.
so many people. He had to have known something was going to happen one day.
Well, it's like Alex Jones. I don't know if you guys watch him or listen to him or whatever. I was saying the same thing about Alex Jones for like over 9 years. Sooner or later, they're going to get you. Sooner or later, and he kept, just poking the bear, and finally,
Yeah.
they got him. Finally, they got him, and they got him good. They got him
Yep.
pretty damn good.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, they say, fuck around and find out. And you keep
Yeah.
doing that, you're gonna find out one day.
You're gonna find out exactly.
Yeah. Rafael Santos, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Good day, Sir Sean and Sir Maron Wadi.
Marone. Rafael
Hello, Sir
Santos.
Tim.
Welcome.
And Selmo. Rafael. Yep. Great to have you here. So what do you guys think about this lawsuit against the creators, the content creators pushing FTX, this $1 billion lawsuit?
Okay, so I read an article on it and I can understand, like, it's more of the fact that they never disclosed that they were getting paid to promote it. But in a sense, I still think it's kind of stupid because, majority of the content creator, they make money from a promotion. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. I
So-
would agree with that.
So then, I don't think it's going to stick because at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's like me coming down here, rock wear t-shirt, right? And I start telling people, hey, this is the best t-shirt. I like it, blah, 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 blah. If I'm getting paid to promote it, or even just because I like the t-shirt, does it really make me responsible if it turned out to be a knockoff?
No, see, my personal opinion is that, I mean, if you're paid, right, to promote something, yeah, you're supposed to, disclose that, right? That this is a paid
Yeah,
promotion.
I
If you're
agree.
not paid to promote something and you're just saying, hey, I think this thing is great, right? That's not, I mean, I guess some people can take that as you promoting it, but you don't have any legal obligation to go and investigate the company, right? You don't need to hire a team of people to go in and go through their books and talk to their board of directors and all that kind of stuff to see how legit they are or what kind of reserves they might have. You don't have that obligation to do that. I can say I like this thing, and then you went out and you bought, based on my opinion that I like it. You can't come back and sue me because I said I like it, and then it turned out to be a scam, right? Because I don't see in this lawsuit that they're suing Tom Brady, right? In this particular lawsuit, I don't think they're suing Tom Brady.
Guys, here's my take. And I kind of like Meet Kevin's take on this a lot because, and I do think it's going to stick. I think it's going to stick because it's looking like the Kim Kardashian case, the way it's kind of like coming together. And everybody thought that wasn't going to stick. They got Floyd Mayweather. I think this was going to stick. There's going to be some pretty hefty fines. But Meet Kevin had a great take on this. It's not my responsibility if you take your money out of your pocket and buy what you see me talking about on my channel. And I love that take on it because it's very, very true. I mean, at the end of the day, it's our decision. It's our money. We're the ones that are going on these exchanges and clicking those buttons, putting in our orders and getting our, tokens and putting them in our wallets. Not the influencers. We're doing that. So if we're taking that information from the influencer's channel, or I like content creators. I don't think I'm influencing anybody. If we're looking, if let's just say I put myself in that investor's shoes. If I'm looking at something and I'm digging it, and this guy's presenting it to me in a pretty decent way, the first thing I'm gonna do as an investor is go do my own damn research. I'm gonna double down on what I've heard, and then I'm gonna make that decision. That decision has nothing to do with the content creator because I've done my own research. Now, if you're taking that for granted without doing your own research, that's doubly your fault because if it doesn't go well, you can't really blame that content creator for that. You got to
Yeah.
blame yourself because you stuck your neck out. You just, it's kind of like what Joe
Yep.
said about those those stockholders of the banks. Capitalism, baby. This is how it works. You lose, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Same thing here. If you're investing in a bomb coin, just because you heard it on influencer's channel, and if it explodes like a bomb, you can't really blame that content creator because you yourself took the initiative to buy into that project, not the content creator. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of
Yeah, and
agree
they're
with
not.
that. Me, Kevin said he's willing to give his money back. He said he admitted to the fact that he didn't divulge the fact that they did get paid. Graham Stephan admitted the same thing, and they're willing to give the money back, but I think they're going to be giving back a whole lot more.
So that leads me to a couple of questions. So first of all, I want to make a statement. I'm going to say that people who sue because they lost money over something that they didn't do their own due diligence on are scum, and I hate those kind of people. Right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to make a buck, maybe make a name for themselves. But here's an issue I have. Number one, like Graham Stephan, he's big enough dude, in the social media world. Why didn't he disclose that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why wouldn't he disclose it? So that number one. And my issue with the lawsuit is right here in the title. Right. And the lawsuit alleges that several social media influencers solicited the sale of unregistered securities in promoting FTX. Well, guess what? FTX has not been proven to be an unregistered security or FTT token. Right.
Yep.
So first of all, they have to prove, and it has to go through court, and a judge has to agree, or a jury, that the FTT token was an unregistered security. That has to happen first. So I don't know how they're going to get any of these guys on any of this stuff.
But they're going to get them on that not divulging the payments. They got them there, and that's how they got Kim.
Yeah.
They can't make Kim the same way. That's what I'm saying. It's going to stick, guys. But I mean, they're not going to do any jail time. It's going to be some. It may be north of $1 million. I know they got Paul Pierce. I don't know if you guys caught that story. Yep. Same thing with the Ethereum Max. They got him for $1.5 million. He's doing payments, but I mean, those fines, they're going to get fines, man. But I think when it comes to Graham, you're right, bro. I mean, he could have easily divulged that because he's always promoting shit. And with the Big Boys, that was hilarious because he clearly promoted FTT and FTX multiple times. But his defense is he never promoted it. I think that's not good. I think he needs to come up with another defense because there is a lot of footage of him promoting that token.
But was he paid to promote it?
That's the thing, we don't know. I mean, there's no really paper trail.
I mean, if they're trying to allege, because if he wasn't paid to promote it, and he was talking about how great it was, then I don't think he catches anything. If he was paid, then why would he admit that he never promoted it? Right? Why would he say, yeah, I took payment, but I never promoted it?
Then he's got to stop saying that he didn't promote it though, because it's kind of foolish for him to say, hey, I said nothing about it. He did. There's footage of it. So I think
he guaranteed.
Yeah, he's got to change that around because he's looking quite foolish right now because there's ample footage of it. I mean, he was using the word moon and all that shit. So, he's got to be careful with that. He's pissing off a lot of congressmen too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of BitBoy myself, but yeah, he does a lot of dumb things, and he has to be he has to make it a bigger deal, than it really is, to try to prove a point. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of BitBoys.
I just don't know. Like when I used to watch his channel, and I'm talking about a while back, he was more about like bringing out good projects and stuff. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, some majority of those projects didn't turn out to be so good, but the route he has taken now is like he's Detective Gadget and he wants to go after everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's fine. Let him do it. It is entertaining, I guess, to watch. And I do catch a little bit of it. So, I guess he's doing his job. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far that thing goes. So, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's the biggest. One of the biggest takeaways I had was why wouldn't they have just stated that they were getting paid to promote it? I mean, that's what they're there for, right? That's what they do on their channel.
Okay, like for example, we are content creator, and our channel is based on crypto, and yes, a couple of project comes to us and be like, hey, can you talk about our project, and we're gonna pay you such and such. Now, this is the one thing that I always tell everybody, just because we are saying, well, look, I'm getting paid, then that's why we usually disclose included paid promotion, is because of the fact that we're letting know, well, at least in my case, we're letting you know, look, you invest if you want to. Obviously, it's not financial advice. And it's obviously that I'm promoting it because I'm getting paid for it. So, with that being said, later on, you can come and say, well, it's because you spoke about it and you said and you did this. I'm like, no, I never put a, well, I'm not going to say the word, but I never forced you, never put a knife or anything on you to make you buy it. You're a grown adult. You make your own decision. If you didn't do your research, then whose problem is that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. And there's a line there. And I don't, and I know I've heard other, not other lawyers, because I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard lawyers say, you adding a line like this isn't financial advice isn't going to stop you from getting sued. And it's
Yeah.
probably not even going to hold up. So it's going to come down to whatever content you have. And I'm sure it's going to be a case by case basis. So it's kind of hard to know, where can you go? I know you have to at least try to be careful with your words and the way you say things. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm talking about, an older project like Stable Fund, right? That ended up rugging, which I knew at some point it was going to rug because that's what they do. But that's the the degen play. But I was always very careful, and especially on that because I knew that one was not going to end well, right? Because that's just the nature of the business.
Yeah.
And so I would go out of my way to say, listen, this thing's gonna go away, right? There's a good chance you're gonna wake up tomorrow and this thing's gone. So understand what you're doing. Don't put money in you can't afford to lose, because there's a good chance you're gonna lose it. So, and I try to be as open as I can about that. And like, hey, it's cool if you just watch me. Don't put your money in. Just watch me lose my money, right? That should be entertainment enough.
Well, what I try to do is, like I said, I try to promote like not stable coins, but projects that are legit and everything. But at the end of the day, like, how do we really know if they are as legit as
Yeah,
they making it seem?
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in the brain or in the mind of that developer that you're talking to, right? Or what's in their heart. You don't know. You're taking them at their word. You're trying to do a little background check, a little due diligence on it, to see, do these seem like good people? Is it a good project? Have they thought about it? Where can it go? Unfortunately, in this business, most of them aren't going to go too far.
Yeah.
So that's and that's why we really do have to be careful. And I don't even know how many emails I've turned down. Like, hey, here's our project. We'd love for you to review, talk about blah, and I'll do a little bit of research. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. You guys have about a 3-month shelf life, and I don't want to be
Wait,
part of that.
so you mean to tell me, Sean, that you rejected the WFI email I sent you?
I'm sorry, man. Sorry. Just I know the developer, and he's pretty shady.
What if finance?
Yeah, watch out for that one, Sean.
Yeah, while you're financing you, yeah,
Stage.
yeah. There's you can't trust that name.
It will give you generational wealth for you and my kids.
If you know what, Waddy, if you hadn't put game changer and revolutionary in your email, I might have read it.
I mean, that's the key word, the famous keyword.
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if I see a project that has any of that stuff,
Hey,
I'm like, nope.
it's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
It is until
It's a
Saitama
beautiful
ruined
word
it.
now. Come on now.
Yeah. Revolutionary. It sounds so great. It sounds awesome. But we know how that one ends. So yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff still going on out there, and there always will be. I mean, there's always going to be a black market for something. Always somebody trying to scam. And then you have an occasional decent project, but I'll probably never connect with them because I really don't trust anybody anymore. So yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like I said, like there was one project that I was looking at, and man, if they really would have pulled it off, bro, it would have been a solid project. But at the end of the day, what they ended up doing is just jipping their investors. And I'm like, wow, 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 wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at the chart. If Bitcoin breaks the trend line, so you see where that line over there is at to your left.
To my left.
I'm gonna teach you a couple of things, Sean.
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. What you got?
All right. So you see on on the side, you see where the T is at?
Yep.
Okay, go up.
Okay.
Go up, go up. Click on the one that says trend line. Okay. Now go all the way to the bottom of the first green candle.
Down here.
Nope. Well, yeah, you could do it from there. Okay, so a little bit higher. There. Okay. Now click on and then drag it. There
Oh,
you go. Stop right there. Right? Go down a little bit. Stop right there. If it breaks that trend line, we're going down for real. Tino, nino, nino, no.
yeah. To me, when I was looking at it earlier, I put this line in here a while ago, and to me, if it ever gets back up into this zone here, I think it bounces. This is, I think, is good. A
Yeah,
good
there's
resistance level.
a pretty
Is
strong.
that the
Oh, go
Bitcoin chart
ahead.
right there?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
Yeah,
tell.
Yeah. I think once it hits around,
Yeah,
if it
you know,
gets up to 29, I think it's going to bounce off of that.
yeah, I
I
think
mean,
between
guys, we all
30.
know where that money's coming from.
Yeah. Everybody's taking it. Everybody's getting out of the bank, getting it
Yeah,
out of fiat,
I
throwing it in
mean,
crypto now. So that's I was honestly, I was shocked to see it. I thought crypto was going to tank along with the market, but I guess people do trust, right? Was this new money, you think, or is this just people who were already in crypto decided to shore up their positions and just they thought
yeah,
Bitcoin was safer?
it's definitely like Waddy said. This is not sustainable at all. Not at
Yep.
all. A lot of people are saying it's a bull market. This is not a bull market, man. And we all know where this money is coming from. And it's short lived. Eventually, it's going to
Well,
correct really hard. It's going to be a hard correction, and
Yep.
a lot of people are going to lose some money, man.
yeah, and they're gonna get caught. Like even myself, like I know how to read the market, and when I saw BTC coming up, I had two options: risk it or sit by on the sideline. And you know what I decided? I'm standing by because I know this is a fake pump. So this is where all the
Yeah,
money is coming from. The first thing is the fall of USDC, right? And people attacking stable coins in general. So then what is the next safest thing in crypto? Big Daddy Bitcoin, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what will you do? That's me thinking like everybody else. What will you do? I will sell my stable coins, put it into BTC because at least I know that BTC goes down. Eventually, it's gonna come right back up. It's gonna pass the new all-time high, and then from there, you're pretty much getting your money back and probably even a little extra. So that's the first thing. Then comes the news of the banks, the bank system failing. Everybody's showing how BTC is a better option. And then from there, also CC making an announcement that he was going to sell 1 billion. He was going to convert, not sell 1 billion of the BUSD into the main native crypto, ETH Bitcoin, and everything else. So what do you think that did? People FOMO in, and that's what has caused that rise.
Yeah, no, I agree, and yeah, it's going to be short lived. This is not a bull run. I do not believe it's a bull run. But I'm enjoying it. It's nice to see green candles, for a few days.
No, it is. It's a welcome sight, but I think we have to. We can't, you can't control everybody. Everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do. I just see some people losing money, Sean. Because they're
Yep.
believing all that freaking hype, man. They're not doing their research. They're not tracking down where where this money is coming from. They're not keeping their ear to the wood, as we say in the South. Knowing, being aware of what's really going on.
Right.
This is not a bull run.
Right. John says good probability Bitcoin hits 30K after Jerome Powell increases the rate to 0.25. What do you think?
No, they need to stop increasing the rates. That's the last thing they need to do is to go up 25 or 50. Go ahead, Waddy.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly speaking, there's three targets I could mention on BTC. First one was 29, the second one was 30, and then the next one would have been 32, right? That would have been the highest it would have went, in my opinion. Now, what's going on here is that because you still got to remember one thing, I haven't keep up with it, but MT Gox, I still haven't checked if they are you see Sean, you see the second line, you got to bring it down a bit.
Which one?
Bring it down to the top of the last wick.
Up here?
No. Go to the top line. That one. Okay, bring it down. Slowly
line?
bring it down. Yeah. Slowly. Right there. Bam. The tip of that.
32. Yeah.
So those are the target that I am expecting. If it happens, then great. If it doesn't, then it's okay. But going back to what I was saying, MT Gox, I haven't checked if they already unlocked what they needed to unlock so people could cash out. And also Ethereum, I get there's a lot of hype around Ethereum right now, and it's great. But the Shanghai upgrade is gonna unlock about a couple of millions Ethereum that has been locked away for a very long time. So what I think is gonna happen, hopefully it doesn't, but what I think is gonna happen, people is gonna take the profit, and people taking the profit, that means that it's gonna cause the market to drop.
Yeah, I think that's a solid assessment of it. But I think as far as Jerome Powell goes on the rate hike, I think we've already priced in a 0.25. I mean, right? He said, before this whole bank thing, he was saying he thought he was going to have to increase it further, and it was probably going to be a half a point. So if he goes 0.25, I think that's standard, right? I think it's neutral for the market. If he goes 0.5, I think that's a clear indication that they are intentionally wrecking these banks.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. That'll kill it. I mean, they've been breaking the bonds for the last 5 years. If they do that 0.5, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. And Waddy, I forgot about the Mt. Gox. That's over like 130,000 Bitcoin, if I believe. That I think March the 10th was the deadline for the submissions for the and that's just to validate, the actual the recipients. I think that already passed. So they're supposed to figure out how they're going to disperse it. I hope it's a controlled release, because if they dump all that Bitcoin, dude, that's over 130,000 Bitcoin. It's going to hit hard.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money out there. People have been wanting to get their hands on 130,000 Bitcoin. Today's at 27,000.
That's a lot.
$3.5 billion.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one that's gonna register on the old scales.
Yeah, on a Richter scale.
Not only that, that's gonna bring down the market back to around under the 1 trillion, and that happens, people might just start panic selling, and next thing you know, my prediction 12 to 10K Bitcoin. I believe that's the bottom. And from there, hopefully, we can start going back up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sold on 10,000 or 12,000 Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't
I
think we
mean,
get
if
there. But
15 is the bottom, then great. But
yeah.
yeah.
What if
Well-
I told you guys? What if I told you guys 8K? Would you believe me?
No.
No. I wouldn't.
Hey,
No, but
I've
I'm
seen
not saying that's
some
not
latest
possible.
projections.
I'm just
Well, I've seen some projections, man, that put it at 8K in December of this year.
Yeah, I know, but I've seen the unfortunately that for me and the TA stuff, right? You get 10 different analysts out there, they're going to tell you 10 different things. One of them might be right. Like that's just, and if they keep throwing predictions out there, at
Well,
some point, one of them is going to be correct. That's kind of what BitBoy does.
the problem with TA, to be honest with you, is that I always said it, some people see as, oh, you don't know crap about what you're talking about. No, the truth is this: TA, even the best professional technical analysis, even they're making mistakes. I don't know if you know um Carl the Moon.
No.
He's pretty famous in the space for TA. And so is Crypto. And man, if I could count the times that they predicted a certain price and was wrong. So my thing is that, like, TA in reality, it's a 50-50 chance. That's why when I talk about it, I said the possibility, because at the end of the day, yeah, it could reach the, like right there, the resistance line, where you have it, the first one,
Yeah.
29, and it could get rejected and it could go down. Now, does it mean it's gonna go all the way down? Not necessarily. It could just go back down to like 28, 27, and then from there continue going back up. So it really depends more on the fundamentals than actual technical analysis.
Yeah.
So if there is good
Yeah.
news, then oh, go ahead.
I was saying, just to your fundamentals standpoint. I'm sorry, Sean, but just to the fundamental standpoint, if you think about what's going on fundamentally, that don't look good. But traditionally, when the dollar does suffer, Bitcoin tends to go up. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and the problem here is for me personally, right? In my belief, in TA, is that it doesn't obviously you can't account for real life, and events that happen outside of crypto, right? Right. If a war,
yeah,
if you got this thing, and you could be the best TA guy out there, and you got this thing pegged, and you've been right, 6 times in a row, right? And a war breaks out somewhere in the world, your chart is garbage, right?
exactly.
None of that makes any difference.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, right now they come out with a news that the whole United States decided to adopt crypto, and finally everything is all good, regulated. What do you think is going to happen with the crypto market? It's going to start booming up, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Now they come out with the news. Well, you know what? Um, there's going to be a World War III, and everybody's going to suffer the consequences. We got to raise all the rates on everything. What then is going to happen? The market is going to start dumping.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so no matter which way you put it, I personally feel that fundamental is the most critical analysis when it comes to anything in general.
yeah, I agree, Waddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to find out what's going to happen here. What I think is it the 22nd? Are they? Let me see. Fed press conference, March 22nd. I think that's when the previous forecast. Yeah, so they're forecasting for a 0.25 right now rate hike. Which, like I said, John's even saying it's kind of built in, half a point. We know they're intentionally trying to do something. 0, I don't know. I mean, I think we also have a lot of these experts who say even after this rate hike, and maybe there's another small rate hike, but then by the end of the year, we're going to be dropping, a full point in the interest rate. So
I think 0 will be optimal, but
yes, 0 would get
4 and 5,
confidence, to the market that says, hey, the Fed is actually looking at all of the factors, and they want to be careful as to not cause more harm. Right. At 0.5 says they don't give a shit. Let's break the system, right? And move forward. That's what that tells me. And a 0.25, I think people are expecting. So that should be, it should be a neutral. And the market may go up. As John's suggesting, the market would go up. And it may. We usually see that if it's as expected, then that's usually a good thing.
Like you said, that 0.25, that was already pre-planned. That was already pegged in. They had that already ready to go. But I don't know, Sean. I think we need to go 0, bro. We need to bring him down. I would like to
see 0 as well. Yeah, I would like to see 0. Stock market is crashing because of the banks, but this is the marketing BTC as exactly, John. That's why people are pulling their money out of the banks and putting it into crypto or pulling their extra out. But yeah, they're gonna. Once this thing's over and the smoke clears, that money is coming out of crypto and going back into the banks, and that's when you'll see the drop. So,
that's that major correction.
Yep. Well, boys, I am just about finished here. I'm going to go eat some. I think I'm going to go eat some dinner.
Yeah, my pizza must be ice stone by now.
Your dry pizza.
Got ice cream pizza.
Ice cream pizza. Chaka Crypto, thanks for stopping in, Chaka. I know you're out of town traveling for work. Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up, Chaka?
Hope you're doing well. Well, yeah, you popped in just in time for us to end the stream there, Chaka. Good timing. So anyway, everybody who came in, I really appreciate it. Crypto Lounge and Wadi the Crypto Hunter, congratulations once again on getting monetized. And Crypto Lounge has, I don't know if you've seen his channel, but he did a little promotional stuff on for a couple of his videos and just got crazy subscribers over there.
Nice.
So good job on that.
I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah.
All right, everybody. I am going to get out of here. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. Everybody stay healthy and don't get yourselves in trouble.
Peace.
All right, guys. Stay well.
All right. See y'all.
Later, Michael. Later, Sean.
See you, Waddy.